Okay, hey everybody, I am back. I'm so sorry. I took a week off, had to entertain my baby. She's here visiting me. So, all right, that's that. And I'm a little congested, so bear with me. Everything that you're going to hear, I own the rights to. These are my words. This is my world, and I own all of this, and I do not give any permission to anybody to duplicate or to share this without first adding me, the cursing prophet. All right. Ready? I'm ready. The time I was blind. I am blind, dumb, deaf, and mute. Your modern day Helen Keller. Okay, she's not dumb, but you get the point. Okay, I have enough shit going on. Let me not lie. I'm only physically blind. Deaf, dumb, and mute was my choice. I didn't know these were choices at the time, but oh yeah, definitely choices. I get so sick of people fawning all over me with their, "Oh, I'm so sorry you've had to go through life blind." First off, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm 22 and I'm having to go through shit I've lived, I've seen, and in a sense, I've conquered. The bitterness never made me correct the fools. Depending on my mood, I either took pity, got some help, or some free shit, or took action and cursed their ass out while having a fit that could and would rival a 2-year-old. The greatest thing about being blind, and I won't lie, was the checks. The government really go to bat for the disabled, especially us blind ones. I mean, I had more money than I could have ever dreamed of before. I grew up in the country with my mom, dad, and brother, and pawpaw. Around puberty, my parents split up. I got to have my mom in the divorce and some 2-bedroom in the projects, while my brother got to have a home on acres and 4-wheelers. They don't care for me, and I hate them. So it all works out for me. The worst thing about being blind is the color blue. It is my favorite color. I know that's rather odd, huh? Of all the things such as mobility, independence, and just plain old sight, I miss the color blue. Cyan, aquamarine, indigo, azure, cerulean, teal, periwinkle, sapphire, Oxford, you name it. I missed it so much. Sometimes when my mom is sober and can stand me still, she'll describe something to me that is of that color, and I'll sit and imagine being able to see it with my own eyes. But that's pretty rare. So on my sad days, I'll just sit and think about the color blue while feeling blue. I love stormy days, specifically because then I knew that nobody got to see blue. Even the waters were murky and dark. That was my haha to all the seeing people. If you knew my backstory, you'd see it was actually selfish and truly bitter of me, considering I to some degree put myself in this dark prison. Well, in a way, more people are to blame than I. Okay, so I know you're probably wondering why I specifically said during puberty is when my parents divorced. Puberty hit me just as it did all other teenagers around the world. I was moody, my body changed, and I was horny. Very horny. Never before this stage in my life had I even paid attention to boys, but now that they were all that I can think about. I plastered my walls with Usher, Sammy, Lil Bow Wow, and even Lil Romeo, although I was slightly older than him, but hell, his ass could get it too. To some degree, you may say, yeah, that sounds normal, raging hormones, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing, I'm white. Still not shocked? And I only like black boys. Okay, you're not impressed. I'll just continue. I don't know what it is about a boy with cornrows and a fresh pair of Jordans that just made me tingle. My brother and I used to attend the Boys and Girls Club of America while my friends watched the Logans and Heaths playing baseball. I had my back turned watching the Lamars and Hakeems playing basketball. The way they ran up and down the court talking shit to each other possessed me. "Let's go sit down," I would always say to my friends. But the only seating available was right on the court, and my friends had zero interest in watching the black boys play. So I was always left to stand with them while they giggled at the boys up and back and overly cheered for home runs. They were bland, and me, I was seasoned. It didn't take long before some of the boys playing basketball saw that I was tuned in, and I could see them talk a bit more shit as they dribbled, and that excited me. Because our time was divided, and I didn't know any of their names, as they did not attend my school, but I secretly gave each of them nicknames. Of the boys that noticed me noticing them, one in particular was a nice milk chocolate cutie with dimples and cornrows. I called him Lil Romeo. He smiled at me for 2 whole weeks, and I smiled back. One day, I finally was tired of hearing how cute Mark was and how Garrett had the prettiest blue eyes. I just simply walked away from my friends. I could hear all of my friends calling my name and asking me where I was going. Without bothering to turn around, I yelled, "To sit!" And I did just that. In a sea of color on the bleachers, there I sat, pale, blonde, and confident. I saw the black girls looking at me, but I didn't care because Romeo was also looking at me. We locked eyes throughout the entirety of the pickup game, so much so that I saw that his game was off today. After they were done with their game, Romeo came and sat next to me. He was finer up close and personal. He sat and switched out his shoes and his gym bag, not saying anything, so I took the initiative. "Great game." "Thanks," he responded. His eyes, oh my God, his eyes were the most beautiful eyes ever. They were honey brown with little flecks of green. Brown could be my new favorite color. Without saying anything else, he got up and left. "By the way, my name is Sarah," I called after him. "Rod," he said, and kept walking. I smiled all the way back to the baseball field while daydreaming about Rod and Sarah. Sarah and Rod. Needless to say, my friends were pissed. "What were you doing over there with them?" I was questioned. All the girls stared at me, arms crossed, faces distorted. "What did it look like?" "Watching the game," I said casually. "I'm surprised you didn't catch anything. Besides, you know Friday is our day to play basketball." Disclaimer. On Fridays, the bus that brought the inner city kids refused to run due to the amount of fights that seemingly broke out. The drivers had all staged a protest. I remember seeing it on the TV one night while I was watching with my pawpaw. "Look at them, just a bunch of monkeys," my pawpaw said as he spit his tobacco in a filthy glass jar. "When you're right, you're right," my father chimed in. "They should be put in a cage." No, a kennel," my pawpaw retorted. My mother said nothing, and I was unaffected. This was mild in comparison to what was said at the dinner table. I'm guessing by now you've noticed the character of my family. They were just plain on racist. Because this behavior had been happening since I could remember, I was basically numb to it. That was until the first week after talking to Rod. I remember going to the flea market with Mama and browsing through the CDs. "Yes," I said aloud when I found what I wanted, a La Romeo CD. I was even more excited when I saw that it came with a small little poster of him. I ran to my mother. "Mama, will you buy me this?" I gave her my most angelic smile. I saw her nervously look at the brown face on the corner and think for a second. "Please, Mama, I really want it." I saw her glance at the NSYNC CD just a few spaces over, and then she picked it up. "Are you sure you don't want something else?" "Or maybe him. He looks like he has a nice singing voice," referencing Aaron Carter's CD. "No," I said, looking as hurt as possible. "I want this one." I could see the worry and what I think was fear behind her eyes. "Please, Mama," I begged one more time. She rarely told me no, but I rarely asked for anything. "Okay," she sighed with defeat, "but keep it to your Walkman." "I will, I promise." I immediately took the poster out, kissed it, and folded it up and placed it in my shirt pocket above my heart. Over the next couple of weeks, I talked to Rod more and visited the flea market with Mama by the weekend. I always carefully chose the CDs that had posters in them. I was building a collection. It was good that I could go with Mama every weekend because I got something out of it. However, I wouldn't say it was by choice. By now, all of my friends had stopped talking to me. Long gone were the days that I was invited to slumber parties or mall outings, but I didn't care. I was enjoying my time with Rod. It was like a new world. He bought me wrap snacks and little chuggers. I bought him quiche and casserole. He showed me how to undo his cornrows, and I taught him how to play pinochle. He introduced me to Biggie Smalls and Tupac. And he wasn't at all interested in Sheryl Crow and Garth Brooks. So we mostly listened to what we liked. I remember the day I opted out of going to the Boys and Girls Club. It was a Friday. Instead, the previous day, I had given Rod my number and told him to call me at exactly 2:27 p.m. Daddy wouldn't be home, and Mama wouldn't notice. And hell, Pawpaw never answered the phone, even if it was right next to him. I was so full of joy as I walked home from my bus stop. That was until I saw Daddy's big white F-450 parked in the driveway. The hell was he doing here? I thought, heart sinking. It was exactly 2:20. I walked inside and went directly to where our cordless phone was housed. The base was empty. I quickly hit the page button, then again, then once more. There was not a sound. Please let it be Mama. Please let it be Mama, I prayed as I walked into the kitchen. It was Daddy. The time was 2:21. We had call waiting, and I prayed with his loud talking he wouldn't hear it. He walked around casually as he talked, and I quietly followed him. He ended in the living room and sat next to Pawpaw. I sat in the armchair facing him. The time was 2:25. Please, 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 I thought. Either talk louder or get off the phone. My prayers worked. He ended his conversation, sat the phone on the table, and walked away. Yes, I thought. I was safe. The time was 2:26. I walked to where the phone was laying, and just as I was about to pick it up and beeline to my room, Pawpaw saw me. Oh, hey, sugar. Mind emptying your old Pawpaw's jar? Never one to say no to my elders, I eyed the jar with disdain. Pawpaw never asked for the jar to be empty at halfway or even full. He would really wait until it was brimming over almost. I looked quickly at the phone and at the jar. Carrying the jar was a two-hand job. Dear Lord, why was I wearing a dress without a pocket in sight? I carefully grabbed the valve jar and walked to the front door, eyeing the precious phone the entire way, and made my exit to the outside. As the screen door was closing behind me, I heard the subtle sound of the phone. Ring, ring. Except it wasn't so subtle today. It was actually yelling. Not caring about spilling spit juice on me, which I did, I ran back into the house and made a mad dash of the phone. At the same time, Daddy was making his way back into the living room. Go ahead and set that down for your pawpaw, he told me, as I was reaching for the phone with brown yuck all over my hands. I'm expecting a call. Shakily, I did what I was told. Hello? I didn't want to turn around, so I made myself busy looking at the show Pawpaw was watching. His voice became tight, tense. Who is this? I could barely hear him talking. My heart was pounding so loudly in my ears. Wrong number, boy. And don't ever call here again, you hear me? I could hear that snort he made when he was pissed. Almost sounded like a bull. I still couldn't turn to face him. Sarah. I turned slowly. It was 2:27. Why does some nigga boy have our number? And most importantly, why is he asking for you personally? I couldn't bring myself to tell the truth. I lied. I don't know, Daddy. Are you sure he asked for me? I could see Pawpaw turning down his show, ready, waiting for the circus. Are you saying I'm deaf? Are you calling me stupid, girl? His eyes were redder than the devil's. No, sir, I mumbled. I cannot believe you gave some little jigaboo my phone number. You must be blind, girl. We don't associate with their kind. By now, Pawpaw had fully muted the TV. Daddy, it was for a school project, I started to lie. This time, Pawpaw interjected. Girlie, I don't give a good shit if it was for your entrance into heaven. You supposed to tell the good Lord that you ain't with no monkey business. My daddy always knew when I was lying, and then to follow up with the lie, I was surprised he didn't come and smack me. You get out of my sight, and you stay that way the whole weekend. Do you hear me? Your meals will be delivered to you. Yes, sir, I said, walking as quickly as possible past him. As I closed my room door, I could hear that hateful word, nigger, being tossed so casually around. I cried myself to sleep. That night, I awoke to Mom and Daddy having a fight. They never fought. It went into the early morning hours. Dinner was not brought to me that night. Mom and Daddy fought throughout the entire weekend. My brother bought me all my meals, sandwiches, although I could smell Mama's cooking. When my alarm went off Monday morning, I could not have been happier. I was so thirsty. But because the bathroom was next to my parents' bedroom, I didn't dare bother to drink the bottled water my brother gave me Saturday. I was never happier as I stood in the bathroom drinking hot faucet water. I almost jumped out of my skin with a loud bang on the door. Move it along. I'm taking y'all to school, my father boomed. Frustrated, I did as I was told. Not only did he take us to school, but he parked and got out. No, I thought. What exactly was he doing? What he was doing was having a word with all of my teachers to understand the specific of said lying project. I attempted to gulp, but now my throat was as dry as sandpaper. How did I forget about my final lie? Why was he so eager to catch me in a lie? I'm sure my face was beet red. This was so humiliating. And what was worse, now my teachers would think that I was a liar. This week was already off to a bad start. I only look forward to going to the Boys and Girls Club later that day. I sat on the bleachers alone, watching the boys play basketball. Rodney had sprained his ankle over the weekend, so he sat next to me. He didn't mention a phone call, so I followed suit. Rod sat a bleacher above me, and I sat happily between his legs as he stared at the pages of shoes in the East Bay magazine. I must have been lost in love or something, because I don't know how I missed the roaring of that big white truck, but I did. Why, for the first time ever, did Rod decide to kiss the top of my forehead? Before he could even separate his lips from our forehead, I heard, "Sarah Luann Hopkins." It was louder than any bell or whistle and seemed to simultaneously stop all of the activities at once. Although he was a football field away, my daddy seemed to take all of 3 steps to reach me. I didn't even have time to change my seating arrangement before I was yanked violently off of the bleachers. "If you ever touch my daughter again, you coon, I swear," my father started. "You swear what, cracker?" Rod said, standing to his feet. At his rise, the team of guys that was playing basketball started to come over, letting the ball roll off into the grass. "Dad," I started. "Hush," my father yelled. I saw him take inventory of the crowd of young boys forming. By now my brother had joined. My father chuckled, then spat right before Rod's feet and walked off toward the great white truck. I hurried behind him, too ashamed to look at the angry crowd on the court and too prideful to face the laughing crowd at the baseball diamond. My father said nothing to me. Instead, he transferred all of his rage into my brother. "You're the eldest. You're the man when I'm not present. Tarnishing our family's name. Damn nigger," was only some of what I could make out. I tried to let the wind drown out everything. It was more of the same once we arrived home. Just now, it was directed at my mother. "Leanne, all your fault," was all that I could make out as I sat in the bathroom before I would banish myself to my own room for the remainder of the evening. No food was brought to me, and none was cooked that night. My brother and I were strictly forbidden to ever return to the Boys and Girls Club. This started the division between he and I. I would love to sit right here and lie and say that it was a little better not having access to the club or the phone, but I was done with lying. This only added fuel to the fire. I was blinded by my anger and captivity. This started my running away phase. Now it was not only daddy yelling at mama, but papa too. For a while, I was chauffeured to and from school by mama. Then I started to sneak off of campus. This continued until I was caught and eventually expelled. The day of my expulsion was the day mom and daddy called it quits on their 15-year marriage. I couldn't be happier. I was free. Free to be me, free to live, free to see. By the age of 18, I couldn't have been happier. 5 years had gone by since we had moved to this side of town. I made friends. Well, a few. In the projects, I made more enemies, but I never focused on my haters. I was a recent high school dropout, a new cashier in Winn-Dixie, and in 4 short months would be a new mommy to Rod's firstborn son. I was unsure of the sex of our baby and wanted it to be a surprise, but I prayed for a Rod Jr. Even mama seemed happy. Well, happy-ish. Shortly after my 18th birthday, I gave her the option of allowing Rod to move in with us or I move out. I'm shocked she didn't call me on my bluff, because quite frankly, I had nowhere to go. Rod's mom and aunt disliked me, and it was years since I spoke to my daddy and pawpaw. Maybe the anticipation of her first grandchild blinded her with joy, but either way, I was overjoyed with my life. My cravings were limited to crushed ice, which was good because I wouldn't be a fat ass while pregnant, and managed to get through the first trimester with absolutely no sickness. Rod, also a high school dropout, had a decent job at a barbershop, and he made good tips. Life was grand. That is, until she came into the picture. I remember her from school. We never had classes or mutual friends, but you'll remember a bitch that's always staring at your man, and this bitch stared a lot. Before Rod became injured and had to quit the basketball team, this bitch was at all the games, home or away, cheering for my man and staring. So imagine my surprise when I saw her exiting Rod's job as I entered. Now it was my turn to stare. This hoe ain't had no edge, no nothing. Who the fuck was she here to see? Over the last 5 years, Rod had a wandering eye, so I learned to have wandering fists. Yeah, I was white. Yeah, I was skinny. But by now, all these hoes knew not to mess with my man, because my pull-up game was definitely strong. I sat in Rod's chair. That bitch better had been coming for a job interview, I said loudly to no one in particular. Man, you tripping, was all Rod said. By my 7th month, I could barely walk. I had to take a leave at my job, so I spent all my time preparing for Lil Rod's arrival. Everything left me winded and swollen. However, today I was hell-bent on cleaning the house, not for cleanliness' sake, but for my sanity's sake. I was bored as fuck. All of my friends were still in school, and my mama worked longer hours now, also to prepare for baby Rod's arrival. I saw the glow from the message before I felt the vibration. This explained why he hadn't answered my phone calls earlier. He had left his damn phone. I picked it up, not expecting to see her picture across the screen. But there that bitch was, live and in color. I saw red. The messages were all basic, but this bitch was a basic bitch. Hey, can you talk now? Can't wait to see you again. In today's message, are you at work? I'll stop by around 4. Love you. Oh, hell no, I thought. I checked the time. It was 3:47 p.m. It took about 25 minutes to get from my house to Rod's job. I did it in 15. I didn't even have time to put the seatbelt on, and now that I arrived, I was glad I didn't bother with it because I had almost missed them. And who had time to work around my huge belly? I saw that fool smiling like he didn't have a care in the fucking world. Once he got in the passenger seat, I saw him lean in to kiss this hoe. I wanted to ram the car, but that's how I told him my last car. Same situation, same boy, different bitch. On that day, I went to jail and got 2 charges. The vehicular ones were a bitch to get off my record, so I didn't go with my first choice. I did cut her off and almost make her hit me. I didn't even put the car in park. I just hopped out. Needless to say, they were both surprised. He hopped out first and was about to come my way before he saw my car still moving forward towards his job, and he hurried to catch it. I was unbothered. I banged as hard as I could on the driver's window, so hard I'm surprised I didn't break it. Bitch, get the fuck out of the car. She didn't move, just sat there like the staring bitch that she was. No, bitch, you want to fuck with my man, get the fuck out of the car. I didn't wait for her. I saw that her door was unlocked. I opened the door and lunged at that hoe all in one easy motion. She was busy trying to take off her seatbelt, and I was busy doing straight headshots. This bitch didn't have a chance with me. That is, until Rod put me out of the car. By then, it was him that I hit. Fuck you, I screamed. So you stepping out, huh? I hit him some more. He tried his best to block, so I hit him where I could. His chest, his arms, his stomach. Then I felt my head get snatched. I realized quickly that stare bitch was pulling my hair. That's all bitches that can't fight do. Pull hair. I laughed and accepted the challenge. Fuck this hair, I thought. It'll grow back. And I let her pull to her heart's content as I maneuvered to get at an angle where I could do straight body shots now. We managed to end right back up inside of her car, me pinning her down, her still with a fistful of my hair. She tried biting me, but once again, this wasn't my first time at the rodeo. Me choking her allowed for her to release my flesh from between her teeth. I didn't release her neck, though. I felt my arms being pulled back and restrained. It was Rod. Baby, baby. I saw us both look at him, unsure of who he was addressing. Let me go, Rod, I screamed, trying to get my hands from behind my back. She first scratched my face, and realizing that I was still being held by Rod, the bitch went straight for my eyes. First, I felt her thumbs over each eyelid. Then I felt her nails push deep. Then deeper. Then to what I felt like was the back of my head. I let out a sound that still haunts my nightmares. It wasn't human, more animalistic. At this sound, Rod let me go. I could still feel her, but I couldn't see her, so I reached. My hands found her hair, but without my sight, I could only swing aimlessly. I put all my weight on her and felt us fall into the car for the 3rd time. As bad as my eyes were hurting, nothing prepared me for the next moment. She kicked me off of her. Like, really, as hard as she could, she kicked me off of her, connecting right into my still growing belly. That was the first time I thought about Rod Jr. Oh my God, my baby, I thought. Although I didn't feel her kick me again, my stomach gave the same sharp pain as if I had been kicked again. My baby, I said this time out loud. I opened my eyes for the first time since she dug into them, and I almost couldn't breathe. I can't see, I yelled. I tried wiping them, and I could feel so much blood coming from them. I can't see. God, I can't see. Somebody please help me. I took a step, then thought better of it. Instead, I held my arms out. Please help me. I can't see. I felt someone grab my arms and steady me. Rod? I cried. No, it's Mike, the voice replied. Mike was a fellow barber. Where's Rod? I yelled. I can't see. Oh, my baby. I knew I was crying. However, so much blood was still pouring from my eyes that I'm sure no one was the wiser. I could only hear that bitch yelling, but I couldn't make out what she was saying. Then I heard him, Rod, saying, baby, calm down. Only he wasn't talking to me. Rod! I yelled, taking a step in the direction I heard his voice. Not only did the arms, which belonged to Mike, try to stop me, but a sharp pain shot down my entire spine, making me drop instantly to my knees. Thank God Mike caught me a little. I felt my water break. It was painful and painless all at once. Like when you've been holding your pee, then you finally get to release it. Almost a relief. Almost. Mike, my water broke. Please go get Rod, I begged. I could hardly breathe now. Mike. I couldn't talk now. Shh. Just relax, Sarah. I have help coming. I heard the ambulance in the far-off distance. My eyes hurt so bad I couldn't wait for my vision to clear up. Rod, I barely whispered. He's gone, baby girl, Mike said just as silently. I wanted to say more, but I couldn't. I was so uncomfortable here on the ground, but I couldn't move. When the paramedics arrived, they asked Mike a million questions at once, and he answered as best as he could. They asked him how long I'd been bleeding from down there, and full panic sunk in. Down where? Was that not my water breaking? I opened my mouth to answer, or to ask. I'm not sure which, but all I could do was scream out in anguish. I truly don't remember being loaded into the ambulance or the trip to the hospital. I just remember pain. They told me I was too late for an emergency C-section and that we'd have to get started now. Right now. No, I insisted. I want his father here with me, please. Even as I tried to reason, I knew Junior was coming, and he was ripping me apart to do so. I was never more afraid of my life than in this moment. I could feel so many people around me, simultaneously hooking me up, wiping me off, and who knows what else. We're here, I heard her say out of breath. But even with my eyes all bandaged, I knew it was my mama. My little girl, I heard a man say with a sob. Even after 5 years, I knew his voice. My daddy. Where her parents, I heard Mama say to the doctor. Miss Hopkins, do you consent? Yes, I screamed through the contraction. Okay then, let's roll, people. I was told the actual delivery took about 15 minutes. But if you include the pain from both the delivery and the strain on my eyes with each push, it felt like 15 hours. They didn't let me hold her at first because she was quiet, and this worried me. Mama, I wept, my baby. Shh, let them work, baby, Daddy said soothingly. I think I held my breath as long as it took for her to finally take hers. It was the most beautiful sound. She's beautiful, Mama said, crying. Please, I begged. Can I hold her now? The nurse gently placed her in my arms, and I felt Mom and Daddy on each side of me, helping me, crying, and making kissing noises at my baby. She looks just like you when you were a baby, Daddy said, and I could hear the emotion in his voice. I touched her face, her curly hair, her small feet, and her even smaller hands. And she's just as calm as you were, Mama said. I wanted to cry. Maybe I was, but the bandage around my face was just too tight. I felt nothing but pain and pressure. Have you thought of any names for a girl? Mama asked gently. No, I thought to myself. Blue. Blue Sapphire. Blue Sapphire Hopkins, I said. That's perfect, Daddy said. That was the last time I held my baby. The next couple of days, I would find out that my sight would never come back. My eyes were in fact gouged out. I had 2 surgeries, and when I awoke from the last one, Mama explained that there was an officer and a social worker there to explain my charges, the officer, and the worst punishment I have ever faced, the social worker. I had lost the rights to my baby because I knowingly and willingly put my child in danger. Until they heard from Rod, my precious baby girl would be placed in foster care. They wouldn't even let Mama get temporary custody. They had to sedate me. Anything I could touch, I threw. Any voice I heard near me, I cursed. How could I not see what mattered most? Who mattered most? I spent the next 2 years trying to remember all of my baby pictures, wondering if she still looked just like me, and imagining it. Daddy only stuck around for 6 months following my diagnosis, until I just became too unruly to deal with. He and Mama fought and blamed each other all 6 months. I never heard from Rod again. He refused to send Mama pictures or grant her any visitation. From what I heard, he and the staring bitch didn't even make it to Blue's first birthday. A few days before my 23rd birthday, I was sitting on the front porch and Mama came out to join me. The smell of whiskey was strong. Even if I didn't hear Mama coming, I smelt her first. "Sweetie," she said calmly. I didn't bother answering. Once whiskey became her best friend, I didn't. "Sweetie, I just got a call from a social worker. Blue is in foster care." I sat up now. "She's okay, but they think you may be able to visit her." I didn't understand. My Blue? My most favorite person in the world? How? What? When? Soon, I could hear her holding back tears. Rod is in jail. They are holding him on murder charges. Some guys gang raped and shot his baby cousin or other. I'm just not sure. But this is what we've been waiting on. I stood up and reached out for her, and we just held each other. I allowed myself to cry. No eyes, but the tears flowed nevertheless. I could see now. Not with my eyes, but with my soul. "Thank you, God," I prayed. This will be my second chance. I had the color blue again, and this time I wouldn't take it for granted. I didn't need my walking stick. I could see the house clearly by now. By memory. "Thank you, God, for my sight back," I said aloud to the darkness that was my life. All right, and that's the end of that. I am in no way affiliated with the Boys and Girls Club of America, or Lil Romeo, any of those people that I mentioned. I don't know them. We don't know each other. All right. So I was told, like, to, like, some of you guys want to engage with me and you send me like personal private messages, but let's make this kind of like a forum. You get what I'm saying? So what are your thoughts on the story? Like, have you ever been blinded by what you've wanted? If so, how? I can answer that on my own. I have been blinded, and I feel like God has given me a second chance. There's times when worse things could have happened, but instead of them happening, I'll get, my little punishment, and then I'm like, okay, well, God, I could have been this, but instead I am that. Like, I could have been blind in this life, but instead I was just, had a little slap on the wrist, and I was able to see right after that. And I know, like, our vision as humans is it's obscured because we see first what we want, and everything else is to follow, forest through the trees type stuff. So, and if you were blinded, what was your lesson? Did you learn it, or did you have to go through it time and time and time again? Because we have a faithful and forgiving Father. So sometimes He'll put us through some stuff, and we'll be like, yeah, I got it down. And then next week we doing the same damn shit. So if you did have a lesson, how long did it take you? How many attempts did it take you? And don't be embarrassed. We are who we are. And finally, I want to know what you guys are blind to now. Because we all know when we're being blinded, there's that quiet voice, the one that wakes up with us and goes to sleep with us. And throughout the day, if you're me, it gives you signs like, bitch, you shouldn't be doing this. Bitch, you know better than this. Bitch, let it go. But instead, I'm just like, I want what I want. And so I'll try to reason and put it on the back burner. So you guys tell me, give me some feedback. Like, comment, share, subscribe, get me other subscribers. Come on, let's get all of this stuff on the road. Let's get the show on the road. Let's get all of this stuff going. Thank you for tuning in to the Cursing Prophet. All right, your arms tired? All right, so guess what? Because I took a little time off. Y'all remember Karma, first story, People have been asking me about her and what she's going through and what's going on with Karma. And I've just been letting her sit because I wanted you guys to see the different aspects of the characters that are in my mind. Little news flash. All of these people live inside of me. So that's why I say I own the rights. I own all of these. These thoughts, they are mine. I am all of these people. All of them. Every single person. That's me. And so that's where they come from. So Karma has been here waiting on you guys to listen to everybody else. And then she's going to make her way. So here's a little sneak peek. Y'all ready? The Time Karma Got Me, part 2. Let me take a little sippity sip. Alright, this is exclusive even for the person that's holding the camera now. I can't believe he didn't recognize me. He was truly even dumber than he looked back when I was a little girl. I could tell him trying to concentrate on the road was making him sober up. I didn't want that. I reached into the center console of the car and produced the silver flags that I saw him put there earlier. He looked over really quickly, not wanting to take his eyes away from the road. Wow, he said, laughing, as I took a sip of Hennessy, then spit it back out. I was sober. Here, baby, have a sip. He knew he couldn't. Shit, I knew he shouldn't. But the power of the pussy made him. Turn right here, I said, pointing to a dirt road to the right of us. Damn, baby. You say you're not from here, but you know all these back roads. Fucking idiot. Yeah, I just know all the roads that cops don't travel down, I said, forcing a playful laugh. How could he not recognize me? How did he remain in this town after all that shit went down just a short time ago? Everyone else at least had the sense to move away or get locked up. How would I access the nigga in the prison? I pushed it out of my mind. Pretty soon we would reach the dead end of this back road. I had him on. Drunk or not, I'm sure he wouldn't drive what I knew to be his mama's car into the small pond ahead. I had to move now. I first placed my hand on his knee, then I slowly went up. I made my way to the small, pathetic bulge I felt forming beneath his jeans. Ugh, I thought. I went to his belt buckle and undid it like it held what was most precious to me. Baby, this is a dead end, he said, sounding confused. I laughed. Just chill. I know, I said sexily. I want a little more time with you. I only see you at parties and around the way. Let's get to know each other a little bit. He grinned like he won a prize. Shit, hell yeah, he mumbled, reclining his seat back. I let him get good and comfortable, then helped pull his pants off. Shit, he moaned as I got on top of him. He tried to pull me in to kiss him. I giggled, and I straddled him instead. You trying to get to know me, huh? He said drunkenly, closing his eyes and holding onto my hips. I left my bag open on the passenger seat. It would be a quick task to reach in and get what I needed. Yeah, one should know who they fucked, right? Even in his drunken state, he paused for a second. And then I saw his dumb ass go on to his next thought. Nah, he needed to know, and I didn't have all night. It was good last time, right? What you mean? Baby, we met before? He laughed now. Girl, you tripping. You from Miami. Miami, I repeated. Miami, River County. You know, it's all the same. I grabbed his arms and pulled them above his head. I leaned in and nibbled on his neck. I refused to kiss this bastard, even in my pretend state. He moaned more and cupped my breast. This I allowed. I let him undo my bra and reach under. I tried my best not to laugh as he came back with a fistful of tissue. What the fuck? He asked, confused. Now was my moment. You don't remember these? From 6 years ago? I could see him thinking hard. I grabbed the remaining tissue and forced it into his mouth violently. This fool actually allowed it. I heard a muffled kinky make its way through the tissue. I reached into my bag. No, I whispered. Kinky? Karma. He tried to sit up, but by now my blade was at his throat. I smiled as it finally dawned on him who I was. I wasn't going to draw this out. That's how mistakes happen. The first one I killed, couch nigga number 2, almost got me caught up, and I had too much left to do. I pushed back my hair to reveal my gunshot scar. Then with no words, I took my knife and pushed it right in the center of his throat, reaching the headrest. I couldn't get the knife back out at first. Once I recovered the knife, now using my left hand, I'm right-handed by the way, entered his flesh again and again, careful not to get the knife caught in the seat again. I sat for the next 15 minutes, waiting for any sign of life. There were none. I gathered my bag and wiped down everything I touched and headed back down the dark dirt road. I knew that the party would still be going on when I got back. I never looked back at the car. Karma's a bitch, I thought. Alright, y'all. That's it. That's just a sneak peek. Stay tuned for the Time Karma Got Me Part 2. It's really, really good. Really, really good. Okay? Love y'all. Leave me some comments. Give me some shares, some likes. Put it on your Facebook page. Phone a friend. All of that. Alright. Love y'all. Till next time.